Good afternoon. Afternoon. Hi. Hello. Good afternoon. Today's election, local election. Yeah. So, how are you guys doing? I didn't go to school today because it's local election, so my classes were online today, and get little rest and I catch up with some of my courses, so that's good. Yeah, but I am here. I'm just here. Hello, good afternoon. Today was a really good day. You know, it was a good day. It was more relaxing than hustling and bustling. It was more relaxing, so that's good. Yeah, I really enjoyed today. Today has been okay. Not gonna lie, you know. Today has been okay. Well, um, today is Monday. Um, I have I have school the rest of the days. Even though I didn't go to school today, I will be having classes face to face for the rest of the week. So I'm kind of looking forward to those classes. I'm kind of doing some revision. Well, most of today I spent doing some revision. Um, for some of the courses that I felt like I needed to read a little more in depth with. So that's good. And it's all about reading. And today I was thinking probably I should have been reading cases from I was like 2, because the amount of cases that we're supposed to read, whew, it ain't easy. It's not for the weak, but when you have something and you have to do it, you just have to do it. So you have to just start. My thing is starting. Start, because sometimes you start looking at the workload and you're like, oh no, this is a lot. I can't do this. That will make you feel very overwhelmed. But when you start, you're like, okay, I'm one step closer to finishing. So that's what I do. I start. Okay? That's the biggest step. You need to start. And then the second step, you need to be consistent. Now, that's hard. That's hard to be consistent, because how can you be consistent when you have so much things doing at one time? And then time management comes in. That's what comes in. Time management. So those 3 things for me are the key. You start, you you have to manage your time properly. Those are the things that I use to motivate myself. I have to start, because I don't know if I can show you. Okay, so this is, let me show you an example of a case. I don't know if you can see it properly, but this is a case. Okay, alright. If you can see it right here, a case is 45. This case is 45 page long. No, you may be sitting there thinking that that's an easy walk through the park. It's not. It's not. And this is just one case. Sometimes you have a worksheet with probably 30 plus cases on that worksheet, and you have to go through them. You literally have to sit down, find time, and go through them. I know it can be very stressful, and then when you read one paragraph or you read a sentence, you don't really get it the first time. And that's for majority of the cases. You have to go back, reread, and see what they're trying to say. Because, to be very honest, judges do talk in China. I mean, they are. They talk like that. So, sometimes they will be talking about one point, then they go to another point, and don't complete that point, and then go back to that point. So, it's kind of confusing. But at the end of the day, you have to just practice. And practice makes perfect. And we're here to learn. We're all here to learn and be the best version of ourselves. So that's one of the things that I've been like doing. Starting and just being consistent and just, practicing. Yeah. So sometimes when persons text me, it takes me a good hot minute to get to them. And that's because I don't want to talk to you. That's not the case. No, that's not the case. That's the furthest from the truth. The thing is, I don't have the time. Like, I always have to be doing something. It's never a day that I can just sit down and relax in my bed. No, I always have to be doing something. So sometimes I really and truly don't have the time to respond to the messages. But it's not like I don't want to. It's just like me finding the time. And then for the group, I'm in like a number of groups for school. So sometimes they send a lot of messages and I have to go through it and pick up what is relevant. But most of the time they do talk about relevant things in the group and I need to be up to date. So that's one thing. And to be reading the cases, and this is just like there's 30 cases for one course. 30 cases for one course. And I am doing 6 courses this semester. Minus like 2 courses. So 4 course with probably the maximum of 20 cases. So you just imagine, I am swamped with work. I just don't have the time. But when you tell a person, well, I don't have the time really, they probably think that yes, you have the time, you just don't want to talk to them. No, that's not the truth. That's not the truth. I'm just really trying to do work and know what's going on, because you can be lost, and that's not nice to be lost in a lecture. So you have to constantly be reading, and then you constantly have to be reassuring and relearning. So even though your lecture come and talk about that, you have to read before going to classes, and you have to read to enforce it after the lecture. So it's a lot of work, and then you have to keep on reading ahead. So imagine doing that for 4 courses with so much principles and thing. And I sat down earlier, late last week, and I was thinking, these students, they're going through a lot. They have personal problems, financial problems, they're stressful, right? And I'm thinking, where do these students have a break? Where do they get to let out these things that they have in their mind? Where the school, where some persons actually go to work, their family life, the stress of life. They really don't have a place to go and exhale. And I've been thinking about that. We don't really have a place to go and exhale. Well, for me personally speaking, because probably some persons do have that place, but for me, I don't have a place I can just and count to 10 and just recover. So I was thinking, what about persons that are struggling with like mental illness and they really and truly don't have the support? So I started talking to I was actually on a live as well, and then I just saw the president and I was talking to him. So the president at the Mona Society, I was having a conversation with him, and I was like, yada yada yada, do you guys have somewhere that we can like go and exit, like a support group per se? and we were just there talking, and I really think that's a good initiative. And I just don't want it to be a talk and then today's talk and tomorrow's history or news. I don't want it to be that. I want it to be a tradition, you know, as a support group for students, because we really and truly go through things. We go through personal things, and like it would be nice to have persons that are going through similar things, probably not the exact things, to sit down and talk to, right? You know, the stress of life. Let's just talk about constitutional law and this and that, and then you're going through anything personal. You can just sit down, talk about it, but it be in a safe space, a safe space. Because really and truly, you will never know what a man is going through unless he sit down and talk to you about what he's going through. And a lot of persons tend to hide that part because you don't want to seem vulnerable, you don't want to seem weak, you don't want to seem needy or whatever the case might be. So a lot of people would go and hide those deep dark thoughts that they have. Yes, thank you, Anthony. Yes, last school is no joke. no joke. You have to constantly be reading, like every day. You wake up, you thank the Lord, say your little devotion or your prayer, and it's in the book. You don't really have breaks. Well, people do take breaks, but you don't really have breaks. You don't have breaks. You don't have time for yourself. You just have to constantly be reading. And everybody go through things. Everybody go through their personal life, Some persons might not have a child or children, but they have work. Or they don't have work, but they do have obligations to fulfill for their family. So everybody go through their thing. And then the question arises, where do you find a balance? Where do you find that balance? And I think last semester was pretty decent in the sense of finding your balance. Where do you find your balance? But this semester it's more rigorous, the courses are more rigorous, it's more you're not getting any baby treatment, you're in law school, you're at the faculty of law, so you're going to kind of have to fend for yourself from henceforth. So it's like that. Where do you find a balance, and how do you find the strength to do that? So I think that's where a lot of people is struggling with, finding time to find balance, and it's hard. Don't think nothing is easy. Nothing is easy. And I remember there was this presentation in high school of somebody came and saying nothing is really easy, Nothing is easy. But you have to choose your hard. What is your hard? Everybody go through things. And some of us fail to understand. Some people that feel like, hey, that person live a really perfect life. No, that's far from the truth. Everybody go through things, and you have to choose your hard. And it never get easier. It always get harder. But it's how do you deal with hard? And I found myself thinking subconsciously, like, it's gonna get easier. It's gonna get easier, Shanae. You're gonna get easier. You don't have to really, you're not gonna stress all the days of your life. But is that true? That's like a fantasy that we all say. When we retire, we're going to be so happy and we're going to be so free. But then the stress of retirement will hit you. Like, life is not easy, no matter how you try to take it. It's not easy. It will never be easy. It wasn't meant to be easy, so it's not going to be easy. So you have to choose your heart. That's the point I'm trying to make. What is your heart? Do you want to work, be successful, be a change in your community, in your environment, in your family? Do you want to be that change by pushing yourself to the maximum, pushing yourself to be the best version of yourself, right? Or you're just gonna give up. You're just gonna throw in the towel and give up and like, okay, I can't do this. This was not meant for me. And then that's another stress because you do give up. Say you do give up and you sit down every day thinking, how am I going to do this? How am I going to do that? How am I in the future? How do I going to help my children or my child? Or whatever the case might be, how am I going to help my family? That's another stress because you're sitting down stressing about the future and stressing about things that you have and what you don't have as yet. So that's another stress. So you have to pick your heart. Do you want to win or do you want to give up? So I'm choosing my heart. My heart is working hard, physically and mentally. My heart is achieving each dream that I set out to achieve. And it's not a must, it's not a maybe, it's a must, and it is I have to, you know. I have to do these things. I have to be, you know, be the best version of myself. It's not just for anybody, it is for me. I want to push myself so much that I can say, wow, I did my best. I want to be satisfied. I don't want to live with no regret. I don't want to be that person say, well, I should have worked harder, you know. I should have worked harder. I really don't want to be that person. So I'm pushing my strength, pushing my mind, pushing everything to be the best version of myself. And yes, at times you may get dismayed, but it's what do you do after that dismayed feeling? You give up. You have to keep on pushing. You have to keep on pushing, no matter what. And that's my motto. That's what keeps me motivated. I have to choose my heart, and it's never going to get easy. It's always going to get harder. And I mean, maybe it do get easy, but it's for me to find out, right? Yes, my son is going to get a little more bigger, and he's going to be more independent. So I won't have to be so, you know, always attending him, you know, make him bottle, etc. That's what I mean by attending him. You know, he's going to be more independent. Probably want something, he goes to the refrigerator and gets something. You know, he's not that independent, so I still have to be doing, you know, most of the things for him. So probably do get harder, but then when that's kind of gone, when that dependency kind of gone, what will happen? Would there another dependency kind of occur or happen, right? Probably I have to work, so you kind of substitute. So you don't know. Will it get easier or will it get harder? And the thing is, you have to just keep on working. I mean, you have to just keep on working. You know, what keeps me motivated is those children in class, you know, because you have some really brilliant people, you know. I mean, really brilliant. Like, some of these kids are so brilliant, you're like, wow. But then you have to remember, it's the work that they put in, you know. You never just come over like they sit down and read these cases and they do everything, you know. They do the worksheet, they do the work. So they keep me motivated because I'm not just them alone. I mean, you have some DEs. They're like the direct entry persons. Most of them is kind of like older persons, and they had a first degree already, so they kind of articulate through the program very quickly. They do 2 years instead of 3 years, so they do first year courses and second year courses together. And at the end of the day, they have a lot of responsibilities because these are mostly grown persons. They have businesses, they have family, a full-blown family, not just a child. They have responsibility, wife, husband, children, I mean multiple children. And then you're like, whoa, how do they manage that? But then at the same time, you still can't compare yourself to them because it's two different scenarios, it's two different circumstances. And that's why I tell people, don't judge people because what you see on the outside. Get to know what is on the inside, right? Because a lot of time we get so caught up in the fantasy world, the illusion of life, and that, if you live outside the type of way, all the problems are solved, yada yada yada. But that's not the truth. That's far from the truth. Right? It's far from the truth. And you just have to keep on focusing on yourself. And I remember before I went to law school, there was this girl, and I asked her for some advice. She was in my year group at Andrews. So we kind of did the same subjects, and she was like, focus on yourself. That's the basic thing that she said. Just focus on yourself. Don't compare yourself to other people. Work with your own speed, and then just you are an individual person. And I find that really helpful. I'm not comparing myself and like, oh, she know that and I don't know that. Okay. Instead of looking at a bad thing, use it as a motivation. Okay, she know that. What am I doing wrong? Probably I need to read that over and to get that cemented in my head. So it's not like you're comparing yourself to other persons. You're trying to be the best version of yourself. So what you do now is see where you are mentally. I know where I am. Okay, I know where I am. I know what I need to do, and that's the greatest thing. And I'm so happy that God has ordained me to be like this, right? I know where I am, so I know where to pick up, I know where to left off, and I know what to do and what to twist and turn. I'm just going to put in the work now, right? And the work is a lot. Work is a lot, because you don't get a break, and it can be so draining for you. That's why I want an initiative of like mental health awareness. I want persons out there that are struggling to find who they are, and because when I look at it, I'm like thinking a lot of persons there might be struggling like academical wise, because law is very demanding and it's a lot. And they may be struggling, but probably if they sit down and talk to somebody, they can like figure out what's going on and where they need to step up, or where they need to, or what they need to do, or some strategies to help them to balance their life and studying time or everything. So I think like creating a safe place for persons to come and just talk and to express themselves, and who knows, we'll probably start studying together and learning things from each other, because you can always learn from somebody. Always you can learn from everybody has something that you don't know, so you can always learn. Nobody knows everything in the world, and that's crazy, right? Nobody knows everything in the world, so you can always learn from somebody. And that's why I don't discriminate or try to categorize anybody, because in fucking truth, nobody knows everything, and somebody will know something that you don't know. So yeah. And to be quite frank, I don't consider myself more than anybody, and I really don't consider nobody more than me. I just really feel that we're all on the same level. Well, probably you were different from me, of course, but we're all on the same level. Yeah, that's what I think. And I think that's a good way of viewing life, because now you get to appreciate everybody, and you are humble, in a sense that you're not too mighty and high to even sit down and listen to somebody. And that's part of humility, right? Nobody's too high and mighty, I just really don't think nobody's too high on my to learn from somebody. Nobody. So you got to like, you have to like know who you are as a student too. And sometimes you're not like a fast learner, and that's okay. Because if you are able to be at the same place as fast learners, I think you're a force to be reckoned with, because you defer the odds. So I really think that you probably the teacher or the lecturer have to repeat 100 times for you to get it. Nothing is wrong. That's their job, to help you learn. And they too didn't know at one time. One time they didn't know what they're teaching. Believe it or not. Because sometimes we as students we think that these lecturers are born with these knowledge and the intelligence. No, everybody has to learn. And who knows, you can probably be as great, better than that lecturer, that tutor. So just don't underestimate yourself and give everything 100%. It can be draining at times, but you will never go wrong, and then you will feel so fulfilled. You know, even when things don't really go your way, you will still feel fulfilled, because you know deep down you gave it your all and you gave it 100. You know, and you left no stones unturned. So I mean, just be graceful. Be graceful. And like anything that you're doing in your life, if you're not studying, you're just regular working, be graceful to yourself and give it your all. I mean, I think that like everything that you do in life, it's a reflection of who you are. You know? For example, you get a task to do. Probably you get a task to work with some people. You're not really fun. You're not the best friends. You're not best friends, and you're not the best of friends, or whatever the case might be. But you get that job because we're going to be in the real world. Well, I am going to be the real world one time, like the corporate world. And we're going to be working with persons that you probably have a little indifference or a little argument or whatever the case might be. I am not going to like every single body. You're not going to like every single body, right? And in that case, I'm saying that even though you're not the biggest fan of that person, still give it 100. Just like if you did love the person, if that person was your mother or your father, I mean, give it 100, because your work, it doesn't really reflect anybody other than yourself. You know, so always give it yourself. Give it your, not always give it yourself. Always give it your best, because at least when you're done, somebody can walk on and like, whoa, I really like that job. And then, you know, the other person did. And then, who knows? So always give things your 100%, your best. And don't just slapdash things. Because it's a reflection of who you are. Are you a slapdash person? Or even on your lowest days, you're going to give it 100. You know? And that's something to look up on. So you can really tell a lot about a person, like how they present their work. You know, you can tell a lot about a person, whether you like it or not. You can know if that person is really detailed and straight to the point, or they're detailed but they're not straight to the point. You can tell a lot from somebody's work. So I believe always give it your all. Give it 100%. We have to just stay positive. Like, you have to just stay positive. I mean, what's going on? I mean, you have to just stay positive, because your mind has a lot to do with it. And everything, I had to tell somebody today, you see, everything that you do, make sure you pray. Make sure you pray. Like anything that you're doing, you contemplate doing it, pray and go to God in prayer. Anything, I mean any decision that you're going to make, go to God in prayer. And you see how that change your life. You will see how that change your life. Go, just like how you go and tell your friend or your family anything, go and try that with God. Just go. I promise you. I promise you, you will not be disappointed. Look, you will not. Everything that you want, just go to God in prayer. Anything that any big decision, even if it's small, even if it's just moving up a room, go to God in prayer. You know, go to God in prayer. Any decision, I mean, any decision that you want, go to God in prayer. Anything that you're going to make, just go to God in prayer. And you see how God like answer you. He will answer you, you know. Don't think he will not answer you and you're just talking to thin here. He's very real and him realer than me and you, right? So I mean, the best thing that you can do is always consult with the Lord because he knows everything. He's omnipresent, he's omniscient, you know. He's all the omni. So go to God in prayer. Go to him in prayer. That's what I do. So I'm just giving advice of what I do. You know. Even though when I feel like he's not paying me any mind. Believe you me, he is. Have you ever seen, like, for example, you are there, right? And you just say something, Lord, I want you to change my surrounding, right? I want you to change my surrounding. People that I associate with, I want them to walk in line with my destiny. I want them to align with my destiny. I want persons around me that are going to build me and not break me. And I want person around me that are sent from you, that are going to direct my path in a way that is according to your will, right? And then tutus, you just see some person just start jumping out of your circle and like, what's happening? But you don't, sometimes you don't even remember the prayer that you pray. You didn't remember that you asked God to direct your path. And you didn't know that you asked God to take out persons out of your life that are not of you and not going to align with your destiny. You don't remember that. So sometimes we say prayer and we say things and we totally forget. But then one day we sit down and we realize, eventually we're going to realize that, well, God, if that person was in my life to this day, things will work out like that. And I'm so grateful. I'm so thankful, it works like that. So, just keep praying and asking God, because who knows, one day it will just come true. And I was talking to somebody, motivating them, and that person, they have gone through a lot of things. Oh, sometimes I can't even believe what they are going through. And I was talking to her and I said, sometime in life, God direct you. And every disappointment in your life, you might think is you might think it's a bad thing, a negative thing. But in real life, God is directing your path for your own good. She's like, wow, that's so deep. And that's true. If you realize that most of the things that have happened over the years in your life, and you deemed it as bad, and I always tell myself this, though I get over it, though I get over it, I go past it, and I'm not in a bad situation. So I'm like, okay, God, was that you? Was that you, God, working there? Working for my own good? Was that you? And then you realize God was there directing every step, you know. So I'm really grateful for that. Really grateful for that. And my mom always tell me, hey, not everything that you see as a bad thing is really a bad thing. Every bad thing, she always say, something good come out of it. And like when you're in the situation, you don't really want to hear that. That's not important. You don't want to hear about everything bad happening. Sometimes you're like, God, what is the reason for this? Why? Why this? Come, tell me, what is the good thing coming out of this? And then 3 months pass, probably a year pass, and then you see that if God didn't take you out of that situation, take you out of that place, you would have still be in that place, and you wouldn't have been working to fulfill your destiny. You know, so I mean, at this point, at church Sunday, this pastor came up and said, God is too big for him to answer you. I'm like, the audacity of this pastor. And then he started explaining, and I kind of started picking up what he's talking about. God is sovereign. That means he is the supreme. He's the ultimate. He's the great I am that I am. So imagine, little fish like me, fry fish like me. I gotta ask God, why did you do that? What's the purpose? He's not obligated to answer me, because I'm just a little fish in a pond. Never a pond. I'm a little fish in the ocean. If you know the ocean big, you know, right? So I'm like, okay, that makes sense. No, that's when sometimes I ask God on spot, what is your purpose for that? He don't even pay my mind, because I have to remember my place. I am his daughter. I'm his child. I'm not supposed to be questioning my father. Remember, he made a promise that he's going to work in our good, as long as we trust in him and lean not onto our own understanding. He's going to be working in our good. So then, when pastor started talking, was a guest pastor, I started putting into context every single thing. No, I understand that me and God on a size. He don't have to answer to me. You know, he's just going to work and work and work, and then he like, sit down, little girl, let me work. He don't have to answer to me. Like, he's the supreme. His sovereignty is going to always reign. And I remember he actually touched a point like this. He said, God knew everything before it happened, and he knows it when it happened, because he's omniscient, right? God don't need we to exist. We need God to exist, right? We don't need him not need we. We're just like, we're nothing. Remember, before anything was created, he was there. He created everything that was created under the sun. So, do you think a man that is so powerful, so great, so amazing, so words can't even explain how great he is, to sit down and answer me? So, that was like a little eye opener. Like, you know it, like when you know a thing, but when somebody say it to you, you kind of like, oh, okay. I knew that he was sovereign, don't get me wrong, and I knew he was God. But I thought he owed me an obligation to answer me anytime he do something, or anytime things don't work out my way. Like, God, you have to answer me. Tell me what's going on. Tell me my blah, blah, blah. No, he doesn't have to answer me. All I have to do is just trust in him and keep remembering that he does everything for my own good. You know? He's going to remove people out of your life for your own good. He's going to put people in your life for your own good. And that's how life is. And I can just imagine God placing a blessing in my life. And as kids, you don't really want to eat the vegetable, but your parents force you to do it. And you're like, wow, this is so horrible. I think I don't want to be that child. I want to I want to be that child when God said, okay, eat that vegetable. I'm like, okay, yum 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 yum. I don't want to be a child when God put a blessing in my life and do something good for me. I'm like complaining and whining. No, I want to just do it without question, but just having faith. I'm reminded that He's doing everything for my own good. So sometimes I really and truly can't see the direction or the vision. Can't see the vision, but then I, He comforts you. He comforts you. Remember that He's a great comforter. He's a great comforter. He comforts you with scriptures like everything is possible through Him. Trust in Him and lean not unto your own understanding, and He's working out for your good. Scriptures like that, words like that, even songs like that are actually making sense. And then one of my favorite scriptures is be anxious for nothing and worry about nothing but prayer and supplication and petition to the Lord. That's one of my go-to scriptures, because I'm an overthinker. I'm a big overthinker. I think about everything. I will sit down and think about 50 years from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now. I just be thinking, but then that's part of worrying. That's part of worrying. Am I not trusting in God enough to know that He's going to make my future, His vision, His purpose for me? Am I not trusting Him enough to let Him lead and stop wanting to be in control of everything? Right? So, it's still a learning process. As believers, we're going to be learning a lot. We're going to be making mistakes because we're humans. And we're going to be making mistakes. But we just have to remember God is working for our own good. And He's not going to hurt us. He's our Father. And He said in His word that if a father have a child, would He take up a snake to give his child as a gift? No. So why our Heavenly Father will not give us the best gift if our earthly Father will give us good gifts? And He only give us good gifts. So I know I use those things as comfort. And just remember that He's just working for our own good. Working for our own good. And I just have to trust in that. Like the road may get rough and it's rocky, but I have to just have faith. And God is good. Let me tell you, God is good. And I am grateful that I'm able to praise Him. I'm able to even be in His presence. I feel so humble and honored so that I can even talk to Him and He even listen. That's a blessing, So I'm here to encourage anybody on this live and anybody who's going to watch this live later that remember that He's working for your own good. And every bad situation, there's something beautiful is going to come out at the end of it. You might not see it now, but it will work out for your own good. Just keep on trusting. Don't get dismayed. Okay, we are all human beings and emotions and thought will run through our mind, but don't let it overpower you. Always be grateful and remember that He's with us. Remember that. So I'm really glad that God is just allowing this journey to be so peaceful, and sometimes I forget sometimes that Jesus is the Prince of Peace. And when I would want peace, all I have to do is talk to Him. and ask him for peace and just trust that he will grant me peace. And right now in my life, I just want peace. I don't want any drama and any unsettledness or any hearsay or no say blah blah blah. I just want peace. I want the peace of God to reign in me. When you see me, you see a bright, a bright, vibrant young lady that is peaceful. I want that to radiate from me. I want that to reflect on myself. Like, I don't have to say that I'm peaceful. You look at me, you know that I'm peaceful. And that's one of the greatest gifts that, God can give. One of peace. Because nothing beats peace. When you're contented, it will reflect in everything that you do, and it will start reflecting on the persons that are around you, because nobody wants to be around a miserable, upsetting person. Everybody wants somebody that's peaceful and this will give them a peace of mind. And then sometime now, as human beings, we go and search for peace in places that are not peaceful, in some war places, right? But then we have to remember that the Prince of Peace is Jesus. And he's the Prince of Peace. Alright? And God is his Father. So who is the King of Peace? Who is the King of Peace? God. So when you want peace, you just go to him in prayer. Ask him for peace. Ask him for peace and allow yourself to receive peace. Because sometimes we really ask God for things, But do we sit down and allow God to make us or to build us and allow him to clean us and cleanse us and give us peace? Sometimes we just ask, but we don't willing to receive. It's just like you get this right here and you give it to somebody. They ask for it and you're like, I want that highlighter. It's so pretty and unique. And you're like, okay, here. And they're not willing to receive it. So receive it. Open yourself to receive the gifts that God has for you. Just open yourself. And then look. Nobody's perfect. And that's what the devil is going to try to use to tell you that you're not good enough. Okay? He's going to use that. I'm going to say, after you're not better than nobody, you're just like the sinners, or you're blah blah blah, you're worse than the sinner, whatever. He's going to use guilt and shame to conquer you. But then you have to slap him back with some scriptures. You have to slap him back with some scriptures. The devil came to steal, kill, and destroy. But God, but God came that you may have life and have it more abundantly. And you don't live by bread alone, but by every word that proceeds out of the word. Sorry, my phone is dying. So you have to lick him back with some scriptures, right? Sorry. You have to lick him back with some scriptures, because he's going to use your weakness. He's going to use your weakness to come and overpower you and make you feel like you're not good enough, and you're not doing a good job, and you're not worthy enough to be in God's presence. But did God come down and tell you, say you're not worthy enough? So he's going to use those things to try and blackmail you. But what you have to do is remember the scriptures. That's why it's so vital and so imperative for you to sit down and go through the Bible and learn your scriptures so you can use it in warfare. Because spiritual warfare is something. It is something. And you have to really know that something is named spiritual warfare. And you have to know, you have to go in the war with your full armor on. Remember? Ephesians 6, the full armor. You have to go in the war with that, because the devil will butter bruise and he will have no mercy. So you have to just remember God. I mean, nobody is perfect, and the devil will try to use that against you, but you have to remember, look here, you have to remember, don't make him trick you. Don't let him trick you. Don't let him trick you, because that's what he wants. You know what? What always keep me motivated is that, imagine the devil tricked me and then him sit down and laugh off of me with him friends. And he might sit down and, like, you know, like when somebody bets on you, it's like, okay, him sit down and bet with him friends and like, better say should do that, or better say him do that, and then you make the devil win the bet. Come on, you have to just always remember those type of things and keep keep on keep on the straight road. Keep on the narrow road. Just keep on the narrow road. Because God is good and He's always going to help you. You just need to call upon Him. Call upon Him and He will help you. Okay? Call upon God. Because sometimes you really and truly don't have nobody else to call upon than God. So call upon Him and let Him know your situation. God, you alone I have. So I have to call upon you. I have nobody else to turn to and talk to Him and be real with Him. Because He's omniscient. That means He knows everything. He knows the present and He knows the future. So it don't really make sense for you to sit down and lie to God. Because He know. He know. He know if you're going to do it and you're not going to do it. He know. But still, He gives us free will. He doesn't restrict us, even though He can. He still gives us free will to let us choose which road we go on. You know? So, you have to just continue on the straight path. And I was on TikTok and I saw this video of, I think the young man's name is Perry in Christ. He's an exceptional musician. He's a young man and I know him from TikTok before I even started going to school. He's a Christian gospel singer, right? And he's young and he keeps like events. He hosts events and I think probably he do the events, like, organize the events. And he was there were like a group of young people at like a hall. I think it named Preston Hall. Yes. And they were just singing and praising and jumping and glorifying God and just worshiping, and I'm like, wow, this is what I want to see. And I really and truly can't wait to like go to an event like that where I can jump and rave and sing gospel song and just enjoy being in God's presence. Really and truly can't wait. So I'm going to probably do some like inquiry, like when they have like prayer meeting, and because it's good to like associate with persons your age that are believers and they have the same morals and values like you. I really think that is important because you kind of have a little support. Remember earlier I was talking about support, a community, and I think that will be amazing. So I'm looking forward to go to one of them events there because it'll be so good. Yeah, but that's it. I do hope you have an amazing week because this is Monday. This is us starting up the week, and this week will fly off so fast. This year is flying off so fast. It's already like the ending of February, so it's almost March. So as a quint it's June, and then as a quint again it's December. So this year is running fast. And I do hope that you achieve all the goals that you're set out to achieve this year. Really do. And I hope you guys like make a little vision board. Me personally, I made a little, I made something in my head, but I haven't like, I did kind of write down it. So I'm not going to say that. I did kind of write down some of the things that I want to achieve for this year. I did. at the starting of this year. We kind of write down, jot down some few things, but you know, if you have that thing, that those New Year's resolution that you have jotted down at the beginning of this year or at the end of last year, I mean, I do genuinely hope that you really achieve those things. I do hope that your family will be blessed by you. I do hope that persons around you will be blessed. Your co-workers, if you're a student, your classmates, your colleagues, everybody will just be blessed and motivated by you, you know. And you will be such a blessing in person's life that everywhere you walk, it will radiate from you. So, you know those persons that just walk around with that pleasant aura, that 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 the ambiance that makes them so welcoming. They have just a genuine welcoming spirit. I mean, like when persons see you, they will see that. They will see a person easy to talk to. They will see a role model, and they will see something good in you. You know, that's I first know and know say there's a lot of good people in this life, and it's going to watch this life. So I do hope that does expel without you even saying anything or doing anything. It just come out, just radiate, just shine bright. You know? Yeah. Another thing is like, as young people, I do hope that Jamaicans, let me not say Jamaicans. I do hope that young people overall, anywhere you are in the world, that you try your best to ask God to remove any impurity from you, jealousy, covetousness, things like that. Ask God to remove those things from you, because those are fruit of the devil. And I have been seeing too much young people so envious of people, but they're not willing to put in the work. You have to be able to put in the work, you know, to reach a point in your life where you don't have to envy anybody or whatever. I don't know, but stop envying people. People work hard. People work so hard for everything that they want. People out here, we get the same 24 hours in a day, right? And you sit down, you waste 3/4 of that day, and you're really and truly not putting any work. You can't hate somebody that is working 23 hours out of that 24 hours. You can't do that. If you want, go your nose after all. So you can't sit down and hate somebody and criticize somebody and bring down somebody because. You have to be willing to work and willing to cry and willing to show a fit, you know, because you're putting in the work. And that's when you know you're working and you're doing something. Huh? So work hard. Do not see anybody thing and want it. That's the moral of the story. Anything that you want, be willing to put in that work to get what you want. Right? If you want a car, be willing to save your money and work for that money. Even if you have to clean, you have to sweep the streets, you have to clean places, you have to do anything, and you want that car, work hard for it. Because that's when you're going to enjoy what you have got. That's when you're going to enjoy what you want, right? Because it really don't make sense for you to sit down and you want something and you want to hate somebody for it and you're still not putting in the work. You have to put in the work. Put in the work. And as young people, it's not a good look for us to be envious of each other. We have to push each other. And I mean not even young people at only everybody in general. Be willing to push somebody and motivate people and stop being envious of persons. Because really and truly, I may have a car and you may not have a car. But and then you are going to hate me for having a car. But you don't know what I did to have a car. You don't know how much nights I have to stay up, read. You know, my eyes are hurting me. My brain is fog. But I have to read over the section 60 times, 50 times to get it. You know, some people will work hard. So everybody, I think, should work hard to get anything that you want in life. Because easy come, easy goes. As easy as it comes, it's gonna go that easy. So moral of the story, work hard. Work hard and be willing to put in the work. And when you're working, you give it your 100%. Remember, I tell you guys, put in the 100% all the time. So your work reflect who you are as an individual. Or you're a 50 person, or you're a 60 person, or are you a 100 person that will always work hard despite the circumstances and put in your 100. You know, because sometimes your blessings don't come from man, but it do come from God, you know, heavenly. But guys, I have to be reading now. I'm going to read some notes and make some notes and do some work. So bye. I'm so glad I had the time to, you know. Thank you, James. James said if you work hard, you will get ahead. Most definitely. I'm going to do some work now, guys, and I'm so happy that I could have this little chit chat with you. I know I haven't been posting a lot because I am so swamped with work and schoolwork and things, but I am so glad that we can connect, you know, we can connect. So thank you so much for listening and watching this live. I do hope that you have a blessed evening. Bye bye.